Good morning. Today is Monday, August 12th. This is Wake Up with KERA News. Hi there. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. Today we'll see temperatures back in the hundreds after a slightly cooler weekend. Let's start the week with today's news. Dallas County could face an increase in property taxes to account for a deficit in the budget. The county's budget officer presented a plan to commissioners that will move funds from various departments. Even if approved, though, it leaves the city with a $5 million deficit. The city says overtime at the sheriff's department is what's causing most of the overspending. The State Fair of Texas will tighten security this year in response to last year's shooting that left 3 people injured. Firearms will be banned, including concealed carry. Third-party companies will employ security officers and metal detectors at fair entrances. Constipation and diarrhea are problem enough on their own, of course, but a new study links chronic versions of those ailments to organ dysfunction. Dr. Dutch Vandervelt, a gastroenterologist with Texas Health Dallas and Frisco, explains to KERA Sam Baker what makes this happen.
The authors make the point that bowel function in general is associated with a lot of health outcomes. Now, direct association would be somebody with severe constipation over the long term can develop things like diverticulosis or direct colon disease. Indirect would be the effect that the microbes in the bowel have on the person in general. And there's a lot of study going on about that. In this particular article, the authors make the point that in constipated patients, there is a higher prevalence of a particular blood metabolite called 3IS associated with kidney dysfunction or chronic renal disease. How is that possible? The bowel microbes are producing a metabolite in digesting proteins, and that metabolite then goes into the blood, and that blood level is a toxic level and can create issues with the kidney.
This gives us sort of another look at what we might call the gut-brain-body connection there.
I think that the real message from this is it adds to the overall group of literature and research out there demonstrating that gut health is incredibly important to the overall body health. While this article simply points out an association, not a causal or not a causative issue, the importance is that it's adding to this body of work that's saying, hey, when gut health is not good, as demonstrated by either constipation or diarrhea, this can have ramifications on the person as a whole.
When these kind of problems happen, what's the best way to treat it?
I think that when people have alterations of their bowel habits, either diarrhea or constipation, the first step is always lifestyle, specifically getting good sleep, getting good exercise, making sure that you're drinking enough water, and dietary changes, decreasing the amount of alcohol that you drink, making sure that you're getting enough fiber in your diet. After that, we're talking about medications. From there, we're talking about more unique treatments. For instance, in very specific instances, there are treatments called fecal transplantation, where fecal microbiota from another person are injected into a person to help them rid themselves of specific bacteria. There's work being done on probiotics, symbiotics, and prebiotics, specifically in people with certain disease states or immune problems or young people. And then there's research now going on as to looking at the microbiota of a person and trying to tailor make probiotics, prebiotics for that person to encourage good bacteria.
So the simpler thing, really, it sounds as if, is to do your best to try to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Sam, this comes off as is almost cliche at this point, right? Because it's the first thing we always hear: diet and exercise. taking care of yourself, getting a good diet, making sure you're hydrated, but it's so important. And it's the the very basis for treatment of many GI disorders. It's the first thing that we start talking about when we talk to our patients.
Dr. Dutch Vandervelt is a gastroenterologist with Texas Health Dallas and Texas Health Frisco. Japan is on watch for what scientists are calling a megaquake after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake last week. Damage from the quake was mostly minor, though the quake's epicenter ran along the infamous Nankai Trough. Deadly Nankai Trough megaquakes have been recorded once every 90 to 200 years. Experts say there is a 70 to 80% chance of a magnitude 8 or 9 quake striking somewhere along the trough in the next 30 years. Both the U.S. men's and women's basketball team beat France over the weekend to win gold. The French women's team came literal inches away from tying the game on the last shot, but French forward Gabby Williams' foot was just over the three-point line. Team USA held on to win 67-66, extending their Olympic undefeated streak to 61 games and 8 consecutive gold medals. Check out Daddy's Rabbits, a cotton tale at Ochre Theater now through the end of August. For more information and other events, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. The show was produced and edited by Shardae White. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter and get those good morning vibes from our colleague, Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at KERATX. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.